Hello, beautiful souls. Oh wow, it's been a while since I made a video, but I keep getting the nod, I keep getting the message to come on here and talk a little bit about these energies. Mainly, we are in an eclipse window. And I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of really intense energy. Not only have we had a lot of solar flares lately, coronal holes facing Earth, and the Schumann resonance has been going wackadoo, right? We've had storms and power outages and all kinds of crazy stuff happening within society. War, a lot of things that seem to be hidden under a veil of illusion that they're trying to keep us from through a distraction. Anyway. What's new? That is eclipse energy. Hello. All of this stuff is going to start popping out into our awareness. So I'm going to say this. Do not get swept up into the distraction machine. What I mean by that is like we are having our own like epiphanies, our own clarity. And maybe this is about this lifetime, maybe it's about others, maybe it's about your ancestors, maybe it's about generational trauma, various patterns, all kinds of things. It is important that you allow for this awareness to happen during this time. That is why we are being jacked emotionally. And you know what I mean. Societally, there is just this intensity. Everybody is emotional. Everybody's like going off the deep end. You got people that are fighting all this division. You don't have to play that game. You don't have to. And that is a choice. Even if it doesn't feel like that in the moment. So, like for me, I have been having all of this stuff come up from way back. And I came in at first with a lot of self-doubt regarding decisions I'd made probably about 8-9 years ago. Self-doubt, you know, maybe looking at the situation with fresh eyes out of this new expanded consciousness that I have now versus then. And it was like, no, we just need to reevaluate. You know, did you make the best decision? Were you reacting from your wounding? Maybe this is something that we need to reconsider now. And I'll tell you what seemed like the rug was getting pulled out was not. It has allowed me to be more firmly loving the decisions that I made, and to have more, I wouldn't say reasons, but maybe kind of like reasons justifying those decisions even after the fact. So anyway, that is what I'm noticing for this eclipse. And so what I did is I ended up surrendering, I'm going to call it, surrendering to several possibilities within my own mind. And then to call in my team, you know, all my angels, my guides, everybody, and including, you know, just show me through my everyday life which one of these, you know, possibilities is in my best and highest good and everybody's best and highest good that's involved. And I was okay with any of the three possibilities. But I know now which one it is. And it came in like a boom. Came in like a freight train. And so this is an amazing period of time where we are getting more clarity. We're really being asked to let go for real, of people, places, things that no longer resonate or, harmonize with where we're going, with our vibration, with our value system. We are being asked to not entertain that which is not in alignment with our values. And I don't mean programming. That is not what I mean. I don't mean dogma. I'm talking about with our consciousness. So yeah. I keep seeing all these things and when I say don't entertain it, I'm like, I'm not having people in my life that are not respecting me. Like, I have gotten to a place within myself of my own self-respect where I just don't have people I'm going to call it in my inner circle that are not respectful. I know I saw, people were talking about, well, if you're really spiritually evolved, then it won't matter somebody's negativity. Well, that's kind of bullshit. I see clients that are dealing with negativity all the time. I'm gonna still see them. But in my own inner circle, why would I entertain somebody? They say that a bad apple spoils the bunch on purpose. Here's the thing with our energetic fields. We overlap and interact with people that we are surrounding, even people we walk by on the street or in the grocery store. Okay? So if you're spending a lot of time with people that are resonating at a really low level, that means undergoing a lot of fear, even grief is a tough one, because I tend to deal with clients and people that are undergoing grief. Those are the people that come into my life, especially at the end of their lives. I deal with a lot of clients that are working through self-forgiveness. Hello. I swear, that is the biggest thing that I've been seeing over and over and over. And I'm going to say this because I've said this to every client that I've talked to lately. There is no judge. God is not judging you. You are the jury. You are the judge here. Let yourself off the hook. If you did things that were bad, you got to work through that in your own mind. And maybe that means, you look at how you are dealing with people now. I'm not saying keep being an asshole, but I'm saying change. You've learned a lesson, hopefully. If you're doing this deep diving work, this inner work, you are learning. And what if that is the point? What if these lessons and changing, instead of, embodying ego, and I'm using that in the way of like pride and, like I'm the being in competition. And what if instead of being motivated and animated by that, what if you are animated by kindness and love and, this desire of wanting to do good in the world? And you look at your own life and you're like, yeah, I've learned I've learned from these things, and I choose not to do that anymore. Anyway, food for thought. Food for thought. These are the things that are coming in. And I believe for me, this window is closing around the 22nd or the 23rd of this month. And we need to focus on dispelling any illusion that we have been entertaining. Maybe that's about ourselves. Maybe that's about the people around us. Maybe that's even what we thought we wanted. But it's time to get real. And to not allow ourselves to be distracted by external things. By external agendas that don't want us to elevate and expand. And they don't want us to treat each other with kindness. That is contrary to their mission, which feels like more about control and wanting to take over because of our lack of ability to control our own selves. Peace is within you. It is always there. Cultivate it. Remind yourself. Practice now tapping into that inner peace, because there will be a day soon that you're going to need it. And so if you're able to just click right in, that's going to be the best. Love you. Bye.